not going to be involved in the politics of the world. I think we're much too small to play any significant role, but we are looking forward to use our independence as a tool for our own economic development. And I believe that is the role that we look for ourselves.
For all, so that our people can achieve knowledge, understanding, and skills to develop a just and virtuous society as a principle of our development is axiomatic. We must continue to strive towards these ideals in the years to come. The character of our country tomorrow depends on the extent to which our young people are equipped to assume the mantle of responsibility. To place emphasis on the youth is to articulate an act of faith in a better tomorrow for our people. It's in this context that the youth rally is highlighted in all our celebrations. It is for this reason that I invite the youth of SaintLucia and you, my dear children, to share in the felicitations, the joy, the love, and the grandeur of our celebrations.
I hope, and before I shuffle off this mortal coil, as Shakespeare would say, to see us closer together as one people.
Hello, everyone. Good evening, Clara, Sammy. Good evening. Please share the live, and I will begin shortly. Hi, Shoals Adolf. How are you? Please share the live to the various groups, Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups. Share the live, please. Hi, Miss Garnes in Toronto. Getting all set for our launch of our UWP Flubbo Toronto chapter in December. Kanisha, you can't hear? Hi, Teacher Priska. Good night, Marilyn. Can you hear me? Kanisha says she can't hear me. Okay, Kanisha is asking me to talk louder. Please let me know if you can hear me in the comments. Hi, Garfield. Hi, Flora. Can everybody hear me clearly? Okay, somebody says loud and clear. Okay, please share the live to the various WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups, your family groups, on your own pages. Okay, wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, everybody's hearing me loud and clear. Okay, folks. Good evening, everybody. Nice to be back with you. I haven't done a live in a while. I'm gonna these glasses, and I apologize. There's a blue light reducer on them, so it almost is a mirror of the computer. So I apologize for that. Kanisha says she needs a new phone. She creates a GoFundMe. Yeah, so I haven't done a live in a while. I have been quite busy with work, school, and assignments. So my time is very, very, very stretched. And you know, folks, to be honest, I have been, in the little free time I have been asking myself, I almost get a sense of hopelessness when I see the excuses that people are making for this government. I almost feel hopeless. I ask myself, I'm going to be honest with you, I ask myself, what is the point? What is the point of fighting for people who are not fighting for themselves? What is the point of telling people they deserve better, don't accept mediocrity, when all they are doing is making excuses for mediocrity? So I struggle with that internally. I have a hard time with that. It's almost like I had to step back from this for the last few weeks. Apart from being busy with school and work, it's like when I see people making excuses, there was flooding after, there was a flash flood and flooding and so on. And it's clear, the major part of the issue is that the rivers were not desilted. The rivers were not desilted in the way they needed to be. Before the start of the hurricane season, as they are every year. That river in Corinth, where I grew up, flooded into homes. That area is exactly where I've grown up. I have never, ever, ever in my life seen anything like that. It is clear that river was not desilted in the way it should have been. I'm not saying there were pockets of it that probably weren't desilted, but that Grand Riviere River, that flows through Corinth, that flows through Bois de Rouge, that goes out through Tuya, you cannot take chances with that river. That river has to be desilted properly, deeply, and cleared of all sediments, of boulders, of trees that have fallen in. It has to be cleared. That river has all the runoff from the surrounding hills of Grand Riviere, Corinth, even Moshi. all that water goes into that river, and then you have residential areas. They're not low-lying areas. They're residential areas, residential homes that have been there for decades, that have never flooded, that this time flooded, because the river was not desilted properly at all, or not adequately. And when I hear people making excuses, instead of holding the government accountable for not doing what it's supposed to do, they are making excuses for the government and saying people are dropping washing machines, stoves, fridges in the river. I'm not saying there are not one or two ridiculous people who have dropped a stove or a fridge in the river. I'm not saying no. But you mean to tell me there are so many washing machines and fridges and stoves in the Corinth Grand Riviere Bois River that caused that flooding we saw in Flamboyant Drive in Corinth? I mean, let's not be ridiculous. Let's not be ridiculous. The flooding we saw in Moshi, in Bonte. You mean people are dropping their washing machines and fridges and stoves and everything else in the rivers in Bonte? Let's not be ridiculous. I'm not saying there are not parts of SaintLucia where people do that, but still, the 1 or 2 is not the whole reason for the flooding we saw or for the river blockages. But people are not holding the government accountable for their failure to do what they have to do. They are making excuses to justify nonsense because their government is in power. So I ask myself, Minerva, what is the point of arguing for people who accept mediocrity? What is the point? When people are giving this government a pass and making excuses for their failures, I ask myself, what am I fighting for? But I've received countless messages of people asking me, when am I coming back to speak on the issues? When am I coming back? And I figure, you know what, Minerva? Speak for the silent majority. Speak up for the silent majority. Those that cannot speak for themselves. Those that are maybe speaking publicly is not their gift. They have other gifts, but that's not their gift. Or maybe they fear being victimized in SaintLucia. Speak up for them. And that's why I'm here tonight. That's why I'm here tonight. And folks, by the way, I have so many messages I am not able to read. And because of my demands of work and school assignments, I receive so many messages. So my apologies to people whose messages I have not gotten to. I simply cannot get to all the messages I receive. So my sincere apologies. That's the way it's going to be for the next 2 years. So one of the things we heard, well, I was appalled this past week, was the Minister of Health saying that there's interest in the new St. Jude's Hospital, the new structure that should be where St. Jude's Hospital is going to be. That there's interest in selling that. So folks, this government, for the sake of politics, for nothing else than the sake of politics, of ego, of sheer arrogance, because there's no justifiable reason for a decision to go back to the old structure that was being constructed in the Labour Party's former term, and which is at a standstill since 2016. There is no justifiable reason under the sun, no reason that is true, to go back to that structure and abandon the new structure that should be, if it was completed, a state-of-the-art modern hospital. There is no reason under the sun except the need to be right. So they campaigned against it. They made politics out of St. Jude's Hospital. They made politics out of Alan Shaftney deciding that what they were building was not adequate. It was not adequate for the needs of the South, either currently or for the developmental needs of the South going forward. It was not adequate. So took a decision to go to build a new structure that would have met the needs, the current and future needs of the population in the South. There is no reason for them deciding to go back to the old structure except the need to be right. They're playing politics with the lives of St. Lucians. They are playing politics with such a serious issue as the hospital and the people of the South. Folks, let me tell you, all of us, regardless of political affiliation, all St. Lucians are annoyed with both governments about the St. Judes and their failure to complete St. Judes. From 2009, when that fire happened, we are all annoyed. Despite, let's put politics aside, if we are fair, we are annoyed with both governments and their failure to complete St. Judes. That aside, there is no reason for this government to abandon a modern hospital. I hear people talking nonsense about it's a shell. Well, of course, yes, because it is not finished. The interior is not done yet. So, of course, yes. But if you look at the plans of what this hospital is supposed to be, it would have been and should be a state-of-the-art modern hospital. You don't build infrastructure now for now. The old hospital cannot even meet the current needs. It cannot even meet present needs, far more future growth. It cannot meet the needs of the development for the next 50 years. And that's why I tell you, this government has absolutely no vision for the future. No vision for the future. When you're doing infrastructure projects, whether it's hospitals, schools, roads, ports, you do not do planning now for now. You look at a long-term plan. You look at 50, 70 years. What is the plan? Where do you see the population growth? What are the things that are coming in? Whether it's hotels, a cruise ship port, airport. What are the touristic demands? What are the demands for manufacturing? Water supply. You look at all of these things holistically when you're doing infrastructure. It's not now for now. But this government has no vision, no forward thinking. And they're putting St. Lucians, they're shoving the people of the South in a facility that is inadequate, wholly inadequate for current needs, far more for future needs. And they are selling the brand new structure of what should be our modern hospital. And people are defending that. But how? How could people ever be defending that? Folks, when Alan Chasney stopped the works on the old facility, I call it the old facility because that's what it is. It's an old facility. It's old, it's inadequate, it's wholly inadequate, it's small, it's tight. The entrances are not even wide enough to be able to put gurneys in. When you take them off the ambulance, they aren't even wide enough. And that's what he's putting St. Lucians in the South. That's what he's saying St. Lucians. That's all that they're good for, is that inadequate structure while they sell off our new modern facility. Tell me how that makes sense. So when Alan Chasney stopped works on the old facility and said, hey, stop, this isn't adequate. Where I am taking the South, the development plans I have for the South, which he was implementing, and I will come to that in a second. We will need a proper facility. We will need a bigger facility. We will need a facility that meet the population growth of the South, not just for now, but for the next 50 years. For the cruise ship port that he was working on, for the international airport that he was working on, for the industry that he was preparing Viewport for all the projects and the components of the DSH project. And DSH is not a one-year project. It's a multi-decade project with many different parts. But you need a hospital that would be adequate for that developmental plan he had for the South. And folks, I always say, governments have come and governments have gone. They have given lip service to the South, but no other prime minister has done for the South what Alan Chasney has done for the South. No other prime minister. You have Kenny Anthony, who was a prime minister, who has been a district rep for Viewport South for 26 years. And he has barely given Viewport his own constituency the time of day. There is no reason under the sun for Viewport to be in that, where it is today. Alan Shasley was the one who was giving Viewport the attention it needed, the developmental planning it needed. And let me tell you what, because some of you will ask, what exactly was Alan Shasley doing in Viewport? I'll tell you. I have my notes here. Hold on. This is what Alan Shasley did for Viewport, or was doing. These are the things he did and the plans. So the Grace Water Supply Project was one. I should say these are the things that happened under his tenure, whether done by him or whether done by the private sector, but done under his tenure. Again, all part of the developmental planning, because it's not just government that develops. Private sector, government develop together. So these were the things that were done in the South under the Alan Shasley tenure. And remember, out of these 5 years, 2 of it were COVID. The Grace Water Supply Project, the Wasco Administrative Building, Ojo Labs, and ITL BPO. Folks, Alan Shasley got hell for these 2 projects. Hell. But you know what it meant? It meant hundreds of young St. Lucians in the South, and even people coming from the North for work, had employment. That's how Alan Shasley was able to decrease the unemployment rate from the 26% he found it under labor to 17%. That is how he was able to do it. By creating by attracting these investors. Yes, you may have to give them something, because we're not the only country looking for investors. You think it's just St. Lucia? You think they come into St. Lucia because we're beautiful? You know how many other beautiful countries there are? Every single country in the world, every single city is looking to attract the ITL BPOs and the Ojo Labs. If you think it's just St. Lucia, you have to incentivize those people. You have to. And there are all sorts of countries and cities, including Canada, doing all sorts of things to get those businesses to employ people. That is what we're competing against. So when Alan Shasley was getting hell for ITL BPO, it was employing hundreds of young St. Lucians who were then able to buy a piece of land, build a little house for themselves, buy a car for themselves, go do a part-time course, and go back to school if they need to. Start a family, put a little piece on their parents' house and call it their own. That's what these young people were able to do, being employed at ITL BPO and Ojo Labs. There has been no other private sector employment in Viewport in the last few decades. Club Med was there. It closed down and it moved to Coconut Bay. We know the brewery. But these projects have been there a long time. There has been nothing new, no major private sector employment. But Alan Shasley came and did that. The St. Jude's Hospital, all the construction around that, and the economic spin-off of the St. Jude's Hospital, the brewery expansion, and the Ansley Sab development. So that would have been 100 acres of land. The plan was to subdivide it, sell fully serviced beachfront lands to St. Lucians. That development would have had concrete roads, a boardwalk, lifeguard station, food outlets, recreation facilities, washrooms on the beach. That was the plan for the Anse Sab. The Hiranora International Airport redevelopment. Folks, we desperately need a proper international airport. Hiranora International Airport is an embarrassment. It is an embarrassment. For anybody who travels, even within the Caribbean, it is an embarrassment. And we should be ashamed of the Hiranora International Airport. Just travel within the Caribbean. I'm not even saying going to North America or anywhere else. Travel within the Caribbean. No country that is serious about tourism, should ever have tourists kneeling down on the floor to fill out immigration forms. No country. But beyond that, Hiranora lacks the capacity for where our tourism needs to grow. So Alan Shasley was working on the Hiranora Airport. Works had already started. The piling was done. Construction was going full steam ahead. This government came and they stopped the project. And I'll talk about that in a while. The Dahe developments, the 2 NHC housing projects, DSH, which I already mentioned, the Viewfort Water Supply $85 million project to increase the water production from 1 million gallons a day to 4.5 million gallons a day. New pipes to Labrie, Viewfort North, and Viewfort South. And that project was going on in the midst of COVID. So in the midst of COVID, that project was not only increasing water supply, it was also creating jobs in construction, transportation, and pumping money into the South. That was what Alan Shastney was doing for Viewfort. And this government has come, stopped the St. Jude's project, stopped the HIE project, and has done nothing for Viewfort so far. And Philip Pierre ran to Viewfort for a ceremony to say he putting up a fence. Philip Pierre ran to Viewfort to have a ceremony to say he putting up a fence for Viewfort, for St. Jude's. Could you imagine if that is not a slap in the face of St. Lucians? I don't know what is. You go and have a ceremony to say you're putting up a fence. You stop work on our hospital for a year and a half. A hospital that has been going on from 2009 that you're continuing to play politics with. You run to Viewfort because you hear UWP having a protest in Castries. You run to Viewfort to have a ceremony to say you're putting up a fence. A fence! Folks, when Alan Shastney said this old structure is inadequate, we are going to build a world-class hospital, he didn't say we were going to burn down the old hospital. He didn't say we were going to throw it away. He didn't say we were going to sell it. You know what Alan Shastney said? We are going to, once we have completed the hospital and we get people moved into the hospital, we are going to use the old structure for a medical school. For a medical school. For a medical school. Folks, let me tell you, the program I'm doing right now is economic development and innovation. And I'm telling you, one of the fastest ways to spur economic development in any city or any place, put in a school. Put in a post-secondary institution. Because what that does, that becomes a catalyst for further spin-off developments. So we know that Viewfort already has a reputation. I think there's Spartan Medical University down there. So it already has a reputation for having offshore medical schools down there. So it's already that brand, that niche, it has already started developing that. So that would have made perfect sense to have that old facility transformed into a medical school and elevate Viewfort overall as a medical destination. So students from India, from all the Caribbean, from the US, from wherever they're coming from, know that Viewfort, that St. Lucia, and Viewfort specifically, is a hub for medical schools. We already have a base. The base exists. All we had to do was build on that. All we had to do was to build on that. Convert the old hospital to a medical school and build on what we already have. Look at how St. George's University in Grenada has been a catalyst for development in Grenada. Because you attract students from all over the world, like I said, from India. Those who cannot get into medical schools in the US, from the Caribbean, all over. You attract those people. They come into the community. They pay rent. So you have all these homeowners in Viewfort who built underneath their homes, who built apartments for their homes, etc., and are renting to those students. So right away, you're creating income, you're creating employment, you're raising the values of people's homes. These students are buying groceries in shops. They are going to the bars. They're spending money in the economy. They are spending money in the economy. And when you're trying to attract foreign companies, foreign investors, Foreign companies look for where there's talent. They look for the talent they're looking for. So if you're trying to attract, let's say, a pharmacy, like a pharmaceutical company, for example, the knowledge would have already existed in Vieux Fort. Folks, I go to school at the University of Waterloo. Waterloo is known, they have a international reputation as being a technology hub. That's where BlackBerry was. A lot of tech companies, including Google, etc., are there. They churn out technology graduates that these companies want. So a lot of them set up bases there in Waterloo to grab that talent as soon as they come out of university. Your ability to attract foreign direct investment is directly linked to the intellectual capacity you have. If we had developed that medical school, converted that all St. Jude's building into a medical school, and built on the base we have as a medical school destination in Vieux Fort, we would have the ability to attract pharmaceutical companies or medical technological companies. That's where we should be going. That's the thought process for development of the South. But this government does not have it. They lack vision. They don't have it. They don't have that broad, forward-thinking, long-term planning for development that you saw a John Compton or an Alan Shastney have. They don't have it. It's all about very keeping people poor and giving them handouts, just enough to stay in power, just enough to get reelected. But yes, our people are to blame too. Our people are to blame because we need to have a vision for what we want St. Lucia to look like 20, 30, 40 years down the line. And we have to make the short-term sacrifices to achieve that. It cannot be that we keep asking for politicians for money every single time to pay a bill, every time we need school books. It cannot be that. There are people in our society who will always need that. But there should be a plan where people can earn their own incomes. And the only way you can do that is by sustainable development. But this government has not been able to do that. So you know what they're doing? They're selling our brand new building. Selling our brand new building. Folks, I am convinced that this government does not have a clue on how to run St. Lucia. They do not have a clue. That's why they're selling off everything. Somebody said they behave like, how we say it in St. Lucia, zombies, zombies? Basically crackheads. They do not know the value of assets. So they sell it for nothing. They sell it for nothing because they don't know the value of assets. Folks, those of us who live in North America, we know that the way you build wealth, generational wealth, you would come into these countries, we come into US, Canada, we're very little. We come from a poor country in the Caribbean, come with very little. We work hard. We buy our first home, maybe a condo. We buy our first home. We leverage the equity. And let me explain to you what I mean by that. Let's say we buy a home, a condo, let's say for $300,000, let's just say. We pay down the mortgage, we pay, we work, we pay. Eventually, the mortgage goes down to $200,000. Over time, the value goes up to $500,000. That right there, the difference between the $200,000 and your $500,000 is your equity. We leverage that. We know that we do not sell that asset. We do not sell that asset. We leverage the equity. So we take out the equity. We go to the bank and say, I have this condo. I want to go up to the next level, a townhouse or a house. My condo has $300,000 worth of equity. I want to take that out and use that to buy a townhouse or a house. So we do that. We rent the first place. The rent pays the mortgage. You continue to gain equity until your mortgage is paid off, and then you have that asset. And plus you have the second asset, the house which you bought. And you may leverage the equity in the second one to buy the third one. You don't sell your assets. You do not sell your assets. You leverage the equity to build generational wealth. You do not sell your assets, Philip Pierre. You leverage them for development. Philip Pierre, you do not sell our assets. You leverage them for the sustainable development of our country. But you guys have no long-term planning. You behave like crackheads who sell our assets for $5 to be able to buy a thing of crack. Somebody call it a zombie government. Somebody call it a zombie government. Selling our assets for $5 to buy crack. And when that money is gone, in recurrent expenditure, it's gone. It's lost. So we have lost the assets. And in no time, we have lost the money we raised from any sale of it. And we have nothing left for development. We have nothing to pass on to our children. The example I gave you about buying a condo and buying a townhouse and buying the next house. That is how you build generational wealth, and you leave something for your next generation, for your children. You cannot do that if you're selling your assets. Philip Pierre, our ability to have that medical school in the South and to develop our medical facility and infrastructure and knowledge and the ability to attract medical foreign direct investment companies is now gone. The South has lost it because you're selling an asset that could have been converted into a catalyst for development of the South. Because you guys have no creativity, no sense in raising revenue except taxing St. Lucians. So you all came in 2011 and imposed 15% VAT on the backs of St. Lucians, as well as a whole lot of other taxes. This government has come in and selling all of our assets. And St. Lucians are saying nothing. This government has come in and behaving like crackheads, selling all of our assets that's supposed to be used for our development. Our brand new state-of-the-art St. Judes, you are selling that building and shoving St. Lucians in a chicken coop. And people of the South, you are silent. You all have come in and you all have basically sold, and I'm saying sold, because that's what it is. That lease to the developer for our cruise ship port and the one in Soufrière for 40 years. I will more than likely be dead by the time that ever is handed back to the name of the government and people of St. Lucia like me. Most of the people who are listening to me on this live tonight, we will never ever see that port handed back to us as St. Lucians. We will not see it. We will be dead. Somebody on the news spin the other day, the person said, my daughter is 9 years old. By the time that port comes back to us, she will be almost 50. That is where we are with this government. A government that said they use the word patrimony so much. Patrimony, patrimony, patrimony. They use the word patrimony like patrimony was going out of style. Y'all have forgotten that word all of a sudden? Have y'all forgotten the word patrimony all of a sudden? Because y'all are selling all of our national assets. You all are selling all of our national assets. Our cruise ship port in Castries. And don't come and tell me we need a foreign company to develop our port. Don't come and tell me we need a foreign company to run our port. We have run our ports for years. And yes, the Castries needs enhancement. That waterfront needs enhancement. But we do not have to sell our port to do it. We do not have to sell our port to do it. We do not have to sell our port to do it. What this government is saying to me is that they cannot manage. They cannot manage. So we have to sell our assets to foreign companies for them to manage it on our behalf. Is that what you think about the people of St. Lucia, Philippia? Is that what you think about our ability? We have produced 2 Nobel laureates. We have some of the best minds at home and all around the world. You tell me you have to sell our national assets to foreigners because we St. Lucians cannot manage our own affairs? Then we should go back to Britain. We should give up our independence and go back to Britain. Go and ask King Charles to take us back. If that is what you think of our ability to do as St. Lucians, give up our independence. We're not ready for independence. We're not ready to be a republic. We're not ready for none of that. Give up our independence and go back to England. If you think St. Lucians cannot manage our assets, then we need to throw ourselves at the mercy of England. Because what you are doing, you are telling us we are not able to do it and you're selling our assets to foreign companies to do it for us. Because you guys lack vision. You lack skills. You lack talent. You lack the ability. You lack it. But since when cruise tourism is an issue, yes, I accept that the port needs enhancements. Not the port, the waterfront needs enhancements. I've been saying that for decades. From the time I managed La Place Carinage, I've been saying that the waterfront needs enhancement. And not just the waterfront, Castries is a dump too. Let me divert for a second. Castries is a dump. Richard Frederick and the Castries City Council, Castries is a dump. Y'all should be ashamed at how the standards of Castries has fallen. Y'all should be ashamed. Peterson Francis, when he was a mayor, he tried to maintain certain standards for Castries. All these standards have gone by the ARSE. And Castries is a disaster. We should be ashamed of the state of Castries. Not just for ourselves, but for tourists coming in. And we say we're serious about tourism. We say we're serious about tourism. And that's how our city looks. That is the state of the place that cruise ship passengers are coming into. How? But going back to the ports, since when we have not been able to manage our cruise ship industry? I mean, you guys clearly can't because we barely see any ships. But all the while we've had ships. There are days there are 4 or 5 ships in the port, in the harbor. We have managed our cruise sector with no issues. So what's the issue? Why do we need to sell our port? Why do we need to sell our cruise ship port? If you want to go in with a partner, and yes, sometimes to raise capital, you need to go in with a partner. Why Castries? Why Port Castries that is already at capacity? Castries does not have the capacity for any more. The streets are bustling. When there are cruise ships in, there are taxis all over. Castries is at capacity. It makes sense to build that cruise ship port, that cruise ship facility in the south, in Vieux-Fort. Again, the lack of attention to development. The lack of attention to the south. Viewport, y'all keep getting the shaft. Y'all keep getting the shaft. Labrie, Viewport North, Viewport South, y'all keep getting the shaft. And they will never take y'all seriously because they know you're not going anywhere. Y'all keep voting for them despite the fact they have neglected y'all. You'll continue voting for them. And that's why they will continue to vote, to neglect you. Because they know you're going to vote for them anyway. And that is why Viewport is in that state. They have neglected for you'll continue voting for them. You're voting for them, not for y'all. Viewport could be so much further ahead. That cruise ship port needs to be in the south. That cruise ship port needs to be in the south. Develop Viewport. Develop Viewport. You put your cruise ship port in the south there, you have the capacity for home porting. And for those of you who don't know what I mean by home porting, it means where the cruise starts and usually ends. So the home port, people fly in to get the cruise or the ship. They normally come in a day or two before. They enjoy the destination. They book a hotel or Airbnb or B&B or whatever kind of accommodation. They book that. And yes, St. Lucians, we have, in the last 5 years under Alan Chasney, I heard a label saying, let me digress a little bit. I heard a label saying Alan Chasney has not built any new hotels. But you know what St. Lucians built under Alan Chasney? Their own villas. Their own Airbnbs. Under Alan Chasney and the environment that he created for tourism, St. Lucia had thousands of new rooms, hotel rooms, because that's what they are hotel rooms, owned by St. Lucians, their own villas that they rent out for holiday rentals, their own apartments that they do short-term rentals to tourists. So thank God, these were the new hotel rooms added in the tourism industry under Alan Chasney. Because like he kept saying, his focus was not on built-up touristic areas, but it was on ensuring the benefits of tourism accrued down to the local level and into the hands of the ordinary St. Lucian. So that was achieved under Alan Chasney. Because there were thousands of new hotel rooms built in people's homes, at people's homes, or people have made their villas available for tourists. So that was achieved under Alan Chasney. Owned by St. Lucians. Not owned by a foreign hotel. Owned by St. Lucians under Alan Chasney. Going back to the home port. So people come in early to catch their cruise. They may spend a day or two again at the end of the cruise in the destination. So then you have the ability, not just a cruise ship that comes in for one day or for a few hours and then leaves. You have people coming in to catch the cruise. They stay a day or two, they enjoy the attractions, they stay in hotels, they spend on food, entertainment, yada, 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 before they catch the cruise, on both sides of the cruise. That is what Viewport you missed out on by a government who does not care about you. That is what you, Viewport, missed out on by a government who continues to neglect the South. That is what you missed out on, Viewport, by a government who continues to focus their attention on the North. That is what you missed out on, Viewport, by a government who sees development only in cash trees. And you merely deserve crumbs because you're going to keep voting for them anyway. So you missed out on the medical school, Viewport. You missed out on the medical school, Viewport. And all the benefits that could have been had, both now in the next decades, 10, 20 years for your children and for Viewport to be elevated as a hub for medical expertise. You missed out on that. You missed out on Viewport as a cruise ship port, a home port. And it makes perfect sense for St. Lucia to be a home port destination. Right now, Barbados is the home port destination. Ships have to go out into the out east to get to Barbados. We have the perfect geographical location in the chain of islands. We're halfway between. We have the perfect geographical location. We missed out on a cruise ship home port. We missed out on a hub for air traffic. If you thought all that could have been yours. You had a prime minister who had a vision for the South, who had a focus on the South, whose development agenda was focused on the South. But no, you'll rather elect politicians who don't give a rat's derriere with y'all, that they only are there for themselves and for being in power, who do not care about y'all. Because no government that cares about Beaufort, no government that continues to get voted in by Labrie, Beaufort North and Beaufort South, who cares about those people, would not ensure that there are sustainable long-term developmental initiatives for the South. And you'll continue electing them. This is what you have missed out on. And that would have made, that home port would have made perfect sense with the expanded St. Judes, with the developed world-class Hiranura International Airport. And speaking of which, what in Jesus' name is the reason for us to go to a PPP, public-private partnership, for our international airport? Why? Why? When we had loans at extremely favorable terms. Cost of borrowing was next to zero. 5-year moratoriums on the repayment of those loans using the same airport developmental tax to repay the loan. It would have been ours for us to control. Now we've given away our power to a foreign company again. Our international airport to a foreign company. Our cruise ship port to a foreign company. Our hospital asset to a foreign company. And our waterfront and port in Soufrière. What is the reason under the sun? The Labour Party has not been able to offer one sensible explanation for the PPP arrangement with Beaufort, with the port, with the international airport. Not one. It's the same source of repayment at the airport departure tax. So don't come and tell me our children will be paying and paying. There is a dedicated stream of revenue for the repayment. Airport departure tax is not coming from central government. It's not coming from the treasury. It's coming from the airport departure tax, which is the same methodology the partner, the foreign partner you are giving the airport to is going to use to repay the loan. And once the loan is repaid, all that money is going to be theirs. It should be ours. It should be ours. Again, are you saying we don't have the ability to control our ports? Y'all, do you understand? Do you understand? Ports are significant infrastructural assets. Your airport and your seaport are significant infrastructural assets. And we have given 2 away to a foreign power. 2. Our cruise ship port. Our tourism industries, cruise tourism and stay over. We have put our tourism industry through our cruise ship port and our airport in the hands of foreign powers. That is what this government has done. Our cruise ship port and our airport, 2 major infrastructural assets, will now be controlled by foreigners, because Philip Pierre and his government, they lack the ability to run St. Lucia. They cannot do it. So they have to give it to a foreign power to do. And they are saying to us St. Lucians that we cannot do it. That a foreigner has to come into our country A foreigner has to come into our country and run our cruise ship port and our airport for us. That is what Philippe is saying to St. Lucians. And we sit back and allow that. Where is the word patrimony? Where is the word patrimony that they used to use in every single sentence? Have they forgotten that word? Patrimony. Whole patrimony. And you remember the fake patriots? Do you remember the fake patriots? Do you remember the fake patriots? Those fakes in St. Lucian society, I'm going to call it out. I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to call it out by name. The fake patriots in St. Lucian society. The hypocrites. Those that like to act that, oh, I am the upholder of everything that's decent in St. Lucian society. Oh yes, I'm neutral. I'm objective. Yeah, I'm neutral, I'm objective. The fake patriots in St. Lucian society that have gone silent. The fake patriots in St. Lucian society who fool the St. Lucians. Stephen King, where are you? Where is your voice? I will play a video of you, what you had to say when Chasney was in power. Where is your voice? Finola Jennings Clark, where is your voice? Mauricia Thomas Francis, where is your voice? Adrian Auger, where is your voice? Kavba Didier, where is your voice? Alison Jean, where is your... Oh, I forgot. I say Alison Joe, where's your voice? But I remember. These fake neutrals in the society. Fake neutrals. I had a conversation with somebody recently. Yes, Adrian Auger. Yes, I'm calling all of them by name. I'm calling all of them by name because I want them to talk. They had enough to say when Chas was in power. They have enough to say. I want them to talk. There was a song, Eros Pakapale, Adrian Pakapale. Talk now. You all used to talk. You all used to do all kind of shenanigans, calling sick for the sitting of parliament for legislation not to be passed. Legislation that would have kept St. Lucian safe. You all did all kinds of things. Hijack Black Lives Matter, taking knee, going and protest, all kinds of things you all were doing. And fooling St. Lucians. Making St. Lucians believe you're objective, neutral, upholders of what's decent and right in St. Lucian society. Fakes. I don't care if any of y'all, I do not care with any of y'all. I'm calling y'all out by name. I had a conversation with somebody recently. And the person said, Minerva, y'all are calling for these people to speak out. These people are not going to speak out. These people are, they've achieved their objective. Their party's in power. I said, yes. But St. Lucians need to see the hypocrisy. They need to see the hypocrisy of these people who had the most to say for less than what is going on now. They had the most to say for far less than what is going on now. And now St. Lucians are desperate to hear their voices. They are silent. But they need to be called out for the hypocrisy. They need to be called out for their fake patriotism. The person said to me, but Minerva, people know their labor. I said, no, you and I know their labor. You and I know their labor. They fooled the majority of St. Lucians. They fooled them. They fooled St. Lucians into believing that they were neutral and objective. I knew they were. We all knew that they, well, I should say we all. Those of us who were in the similar circles, we know them. We know what they were doing. But they fool the majority. So when Adrian Auger come and talk, oh, I'm Adrian Auger. This is what I'm saying. I use like nice fancy words. Oh, I bullshit solutions with the words and my flowery language. And solutions are so gullible and easily impressed. They believe they buy into the crap. Fool the solutions. And now they're silent. Civil society organizations, which the Labour Party has hijacked for many decades. On a previous live, I told you that's how the Labour Party operates. They do long-term planning. They don't just put people in these organizations now for now. They put them there. They place the people there decades ago. So when they need them, they are well placed. These people fool the SaintLucians. That's why I'm calling them out by name now. Adrian Auger, I'm calling you out by name now. Stephen King, I'm calling you now. Mauricio Francis, I'm calling you now. Cuthbert Didi, I'm calling you now. Where are your voices? Where's the Bar Association? Where's the SLHT? Oh, I forgot. SLHT has got labor. Y'all did all kinds of shenanigans. Even for COVID to keep people safe, and now you're silent with what's going on in the country. Medical Association. What are you saying that St. Judes would have stopped for a year and a half? What are you saying? Oh, I forgot. You'll have your people. You'll have achieved your objective. Your party's in power now. So everybody take moo pills. Everybody mouth shut frap. Everybody silent now. While the SaintLucians who don't have a voice, who were looking at y'all when y'all spoke as if y'all were speaking from a neutral position, fooled SaintLucians. Let me play Dr. King for you.
It's getting even worse. Look at the breaking of the agreement with the trust, the breaking of a promise and the word of a government.
So this was Dr. Stephen King when back when Alan Shastney was in power. During COVID, a medical doctor who should have understood that the SOE, the state of emergency, was to keep St. Lucia safe. Look at the politics he played with the lives of St. Lucians. Look at what he had the most to say about to achieve his political objectives. And now Dr. Stephen King, paka pale, his mouth shut frap. Listen to this.
It's getting even worse. Look at the breaking of the agreement with the trust, the breaking of a promise and the word of a government to a bona fide citizens group, which is not even statutory that matter. That is unacceptable. If you look at the recent pieces of legislation that the government was trying to pass, all in one sitting, again, that is unacceptable. This is government that is ruling with I would say excessive force. We need democracy where people can debate. We need to have general citizens able to look at policies, debate on policies themselves, influence policies, and for that matter, influence legislation. Because the governments don't rule in the party interest, they rule in the people's interest. And well, yes, they are supposed to, Janika, and we must insist. Now, invariably, the parties and various agents of government will bully us and tell us, essentially we become fearful of speaking. There's no real freedom of speech because you're worried that they might hurt us, they might hurt our families, they might hurt our businesses. And that is true, they can. But that is not democratic. That is not good governance. And I think the time has come, as SaintLucians, that we put our foot down. The extension of the state of emergency that people have objected to. Why can't we object? And why can't we be heard? And why can't we be given, shall we say, a good listening ear? And let us have a debate on the issues so that the right thing can be done by the people of this country. And in the end of the paper, I point out that our ancestors, I'm a mixed race St. Lucian. But I can tell you, I have ancestors on both sides, white.
Y'all, I'm gonna continue playing. But listen to this. He's a mixed race Saint Lucian. What was Alan Chasney? What is Alan Chasney? Isn't Alan Chasney a mixed race Saint Lucian? You see the hypocrisy of these people? You see the hypocrisy of Saint Lucian society? That's why they will not like me, because I will call them out and I will call them out by name. I cannot stand this hypocrisy. What is Alan Chasney if not a mixed race Saint Lucian? Saint Lucian, a white mother and a black father. But look at how he can invoke, I'm a mixed race Saint Lucian. Look at what, listen carefully to what he's going to say. But Alan Chasney is not entitled to that because you'll brand him as a white man because it's convenient for you all. How is it any different from you or Kenny Anthony or Barack Obama? A white mother and a black father. How is it any different? And y'all play so much damn racism. Yes, all of a sudden, no, but yeah, all of a sudden now he's a mixed race Saint Lucian. He never referred to himself as such, but all of a sudden he's a mixed race Saint Lucian. Hijack the Black Lives Matter thing. Ras Iper came out and said it. Philippe all these people, Alison Jean hijacked the Black Lives Matter thing just to go after Alan Chasney. It was targeted at Alan Chasney. So he's not allowed to say he's a mixed race Saint Lucian. You'll have branded him white. He's not different from Kenny Anthony. He's not different from Barack Obama. He's not different from Stephen King. But today he's a mixed race. He's a mixed race Saint Lucian. Look at how most of us are mixed race Saint Lucians. Most of us are mixed race Saint Lucians. Most of us are not either one thing or the other. Most of us are many different races. So what's the significance of that? But listen to the hypocrisy of this.
Black.
Just let me go back a little bit.
And in the end of the paper, I point out that our ancestors, I'm a mixed race St. Lucian. But I can tell you, I have ancestors on both sides, white and black. And our ancestors that were in chattel slavery suffered and fought to overturn that oppressive system. And then we came to colonialism, which was really our new Jim Crow. And the British subjugated us with a system that called the Westminster system that they eventually gave us in our constitution. They continued the subjugation, even though their faces and colors of their skins may have changed. The concept remained what I call internal neo-colonialism. You know, so I stand with the spirits of Sir John Compton and Sir George Charles and those that have gone before, because we cannot tolerate that kind of system in our country. We need democracy.
All that bull crap from Stephen King. All that bull crap from Stephen King. Just to be opposing to Alan Chasney. Just to be opposing to Alan Chasney. Because you're your political agenda, Stephen King. A doctor like you, who should have understood the importance of the state of the emergency to manage COVID like all countries around the world had. You come and invoke the name of neo-colonialism, the color of your skin ancestors, missy bagay, to just to oppose Alan Chasney. You should be ashamed of yourself. And today you silent? And today you have nothing to say for all the nonsense that's going on there? Listen to all that crap Stephen King come and talk. All that crap. And solutions, I need you to stop. I need you to stop being so gullible. You gotta tell me that upset me. These people come and talk their bull crap. And you all can't filter nonsense from sense. One thing I give my father, one thing he taught us, to think for ourselves. My father taught us to think critically, to don't just read something or listen to something and just accept it. Make sense out of the nonsense. Understand the objectives of people, what their agendas are. Go research for yourself. Fact check what they're saying. That's why I can never be impressed with people like that. When these people talk about things, oh, Stephen King said this. Oh, Adrian Osage said that. Oh, this one said this. Not me. I will never be impressed with those people. Because I see them coming a mile away. I see their agenda a mile away. Not me that will ever be impressed and gullible. Endless bullshit. And today he's silent. Today he's silent.
And in this COVID time, COVID has caused us to think deeply on our systems and how they can hurt us. Some people even call it the pandemic.
A doctor.
But you know, we in St. Lucia, I'm urging St. Lucians. I'm not even talking about being of a particular political color. It does not matter. It is the one flag that we are under. We are one people. We need to know.
You see how they act like they're patriots? You see how they act like they're patriots and they're neutral parties when they have all their dirty political agendas to push. You see what the words they use to fool gullible St. Lucians. When they have all their political agendas to push. Bluffing St. Lucians with pretty words. Oh, I'm neutral. Oh, I'm objective. Oh, I'm an independent thinker. Nonsense.
And assure that we have a democratic country, that we have control of our destiny, like Sir John Compton said so beautifully.
And they love to invoke the name of John Compton. They love to invoke the name of John Compton, including the Labours that hated John Compton, that would have killed him if they had a chance to. They love to invoke the name of John Compton. Let me tell you all, people put it off thinking caps. They do that deliberately. You invoke the name of John Compton because now that he's dead, now they can no longer spit on him. Now they could no longer take his parking in the William Peter Boulevard away from him. When they could no longer be ready to kill him. When they could no longer call him all sorts of names because he's dead. Now he's dead and he has a profile as a father of the nation. They will invoke his name at every opportunity. Keep your eyes open for the nonsense. Keep your eyes open for the nonsense. They love to invoke the name of John Compton. Oh, this is not a party of Sir John. This is not a party of Sir John. Shut up! Shut the hell up! Y'all hated Sir John. Y'all hated him. Y'all hated John Compton. All of a sudden, no, this is not a party of John Compton. Oh, so John Compton must be rolling in his grave. Shut up, you hypocrites. Shut up. Yes, no, but I remember, I worked at CIBC. I remember when Labour Party won in 97. I was working at CIBC in the Boulevard. I remember the guys having to come and put 2 concrete blocks there to hold a little parking space for John Compton in front of his building. Even that the Labour Party deprived John Compton of. They hated John Compton. They called him all kinds of dirty names and telling you they could have a chance to kill Sir John Compton, they would have. They hated him. The same way they treated Alan Chasney, that's the same way they treated him, even worse. So when you say they want to clutch their fake pearls and call John Compton's name, keep your eyes and ears open. Don't let the hypocrites invoke John Compton's name to make you behave how they want you to behave and think how they want you to think. Look at the language. Everything this man says there was to make you believe he's a patriot, he's a neutral party, he's a neutral objective party, when he was not. You couldn't get your lab going under Alan Chasney during COVID. That was your agenda, to get Alan Chasney out. Because you thought the business should have gone to you. You're not fooling me, I know you all. You're not fooling me. You all fool gullible solutions. You will not fool me. And I will call you all out on your hypocrisy.
He was arguing for independence. We need the ability to take charge and control our destiny. No, but you cannot control our destiny by a political elite who tells us what is good and right for us.
You can't control our destiny by a political elite who tells us what is good and right for us. No. That's not what my ears heard. That's not what my ears heard. No. I must have heard something wrong. Let me go back to that. I can't believe my ears. No, I can't believe my ears. What? I can't believe my ears. No, I can't be hearing right.
The ability to take charge and control our destiny. No, but you cannot control our destiny by a political elite who tells us what is good and right for us and then does it regardless of what we think.
So what's going on now?
That is not controlling the destiny in a collective way. It is a political elite controlling destiny for us.
So what's going on now?
All over again, coming in a different form. I cannot abide by that. I'll be a traitor to the ancestors. I'll be a traitor to Sir John Compton and Sir George Charles if I agreed with that.
Yo, I have never heard a lot of hogwash. Oh my God, what a load of crap. What a load of hogwash. And invoking John Compton's name, political elite. What do we have now? Stephen King. You take mumu pills. No, y'all. No, that's not true. That's not true. Where is Stephen King? Look at all that drama Stephen King said there. Stephen King talk about Compton, he talk about ancestors, he talk about mixed race, he talk about all of that because you could not be, Shas was not your puppet. You could not get the monopoly to the COVID testing under Shas. You took all of that, feigning neutrality, pretending to be neutral, to fool gullible, unsuspecting St. Lucians, because you see that some kind of authority, you, Adrian Auger, and the rest of y'all hypocrites. Now your party is in, your objective has been met, your pockets are lined the way you all want it to be now. You don't give a rat's derriere about the average St. Lucian and the poor St. Lucian and what's going on in the country. What's going on that is 10 times worse than what you're preaching your BS about. There's 10 times worse in the country. And Stephen King Pakapale. Where are your voices? But you know when you're going to head and talk again? And the National Trust? I always said National Trust talk every 5 years. Only when UWP in National Trust have a voice. Where them today? Where is the national distrust today? Where is Stephen King today? Where is Adrian Auger today? Where is Mauricia Thomas Francis today? But as soon as UWP win the next election, all of those who were silent, you will hear them, oh, this is not right. So John, a mixed race, our ancestors, our patrimony. Oh, we selling our patrimony. What about our children? What about our children? Hypocrites. Somebody said National Trust, is there still one? They're only there when UWP is in power. When Labour Party is in power, they don't have a voice. They're silent. Only when UWP is in power, these organizations have a voice. That's why Shasney was right to defund the National Trust. At first I didn't agree with his decision, but he was damn right to defund the National Trust. You'll have so many state assets. Go be entrepreneurial and make money off of them. Just sit down there using a government subvention bill to play your politics. Hijacked by the Labour Party, using a government subvention bill to play your politics. Stagnating the work of the government and standing in everything they're doing. Just getting involved in blocking them. But when Labour Party is in, you'll have all those fantastic, beautiful, the most beautiful assets in St. Lucia vested in the National Trust. You'll have no entrepreneurial minds to go and make them make money. Just they're playing politics. The National Trust is another Labour Party organ. A branch of the Labour Party. Just like the SLPYO, just like the SLP Women's Association, National Trust is a branch of the SLP. And it's such a shame that an important institution like the National Trust has been hijacked by the Labour Party. Such a shame. It has an important mandate. lost under this current crop of people who have hijacked it for their political purposes. Folks, let me tell you, Cabot, every time I think about Cabot, I have to laugh. Am I the only one seeing what's going on in Cabot? Please tell me I'm not the only one. Please tell me I am not the only one seeing what is going on in Cabot. Somebody put right in the comments I see it too, because I don't want to believe I'm the only one seeing it. Tell me in the comments that y'all see it too. Folks, SaintLucians, y'all is really the labor fool, y'all. Where? SaintLucians play, this Labour Party do a number with y'all on Cabot. Cabot was owned. The property was in receivership. Privately held lands has always been privately held for the last, 40 years or so. Capacity Limited, Raffles, bought by, Nadoni, in receivership. So held by receivers. Cabot finally came in to buy private property, not state assets. Not our airport, not our seaport, not our world-class hospital. Private property that was in the hands of a receiver. Right? They took part of the loan, not the full loan, part of it from the NIC. The NIC has a mandate to invest pensioners' funds in ways that can make money. A loan, just like a bank, I put my money in the bank as savings. The bank takes my money and gives it to you as a loan. The interest on that loan is how the bank makes money for itself and for me, and to pay me my interest. So for you, it's a loan. For the bank, it's an investment. This is no different. So Cabot comes to NIC, gets a loan. For Cabot, it's a loan. For NIC, it's an investment. It's an investment of pensioners' money in a highly secured loan. Highly secured. With security that is worth 3 times the value of the loan it was taken. 3 times the value. So there was little to no risk on that investment. The returns to NIC and back to pensioners would have been the interest on the repayment of that loan. SLP came in and fooled SaintLucians. SLP came in and mama guide y'all. SLP came and make magie with y'all. Have them jumping up on the beach. Jack don't want me to bathe on my beach. I had a video. Let me see if I had that video. I want to show that video. Hold on. Let me see if I can find that video quickly. The ludicrousy of what went on. Somebody who's listening, if you have that video, WhatsApp it to me right now. I'm supposed to have that video, but WhatsApp it to me. I need to show you that video because, you know, when you look back, sometimes you have to show what happened just 2 years ago, you know, for you to see the contrast. Somebody message me that video. I know people listening to me have that video close at hand. Send it for me. Send it for me. I'm supposed to have that. I want to play it for y'all. Let me find that video. I need to play it for y'all. I need to play that video for y'all. If somebody has it, send it to me. I have to keep these videos in my archives because we have to go back. We have to go back to show the stupidity of how Labour Party fooled SaintLucians. just 2 years ago. So private property being sold by a receiver to a private company, taking a loan from NIC. NIC is making an investment to get its returns to be able to pay pensioners. Otherwise, because of inflation, the value of money over time decreases. If you do not invest that money in interest rates that can keep pace with inflation, the real value of your money decreases over time. So just like if they invest on the stock market, if they invest in any other venture to make money, it was the same. Labour Party convinced St. Lucians that was the worst thing out. They use the word patrimony so much. Oh, we're selling our patrimony. Oh, we're giving away our land. Oh, we're giving away our money from NIC, our pensioners' money. Oh, they clutch their fake pearls. They put their hand on the Bible. Oh, they cried bloody murder. They bring people on the beach. Oh, Jack don't want me to bathe on my beach. Oh, they were jumping up in their red. Stephen King, all of them were there. Somebody send me that video, please. I need that video. I want to show St. Lucian. Send me that video, please. Send me that video. I wish I had it close at hand. I have it. I would have to go look for it. They made St. Lucians look like macaques on cardboard. They came in. Have they stopped cardboard? Huh? Y'all just really let Labour Party fool y'all, eh? Let's really let Labour Party fool y'all. You know what Philippe come and say about Cabot? Oh, Cabot, we sat down around a table like gentlemen and we talked about it. So what was the last cabinet? Cabwits. What did you talk about that's any different from what Cabot was doing? Philippe, what did you talk about with Cabot that is any different from what Cabot was always intending to do? What you're sitting around the table like gentlemen has achieved? They're going ahead with the development as they should. It's a good development for St. Lucians. It's a good development. It's providing jobs in construction now. It's providing all kind of management jobs. It will provide jobs after it's completed. It was always a good project. But y'all fooled St. Lucians to win an election. Y'all lied to St. Lucians and gullible St. Lucians. Y'all let Labour fool y'all. But y'all, guess who benefiting from Cabot? Guess who are the beneficiaries of Cabot? Look closely. Oh, somebody said it to me. Hold on. 1 second.
The most popular song of that day.
Look at them.
And quite fitting if you ask the attendants.
Look at them. Look at the
It was
fools.
marketed as a lime for all those in support of Marjorie Lambert, proprietor of Marjorie's Restaurant, a staple on the Casabah Beach for over 2 decades. Cabot St. Lucia, via cabinet conclusion, has been granted a 75-year lease on swaths of land stretching from Point Hardy, Cap Estate, through to Donkey Beach. That will include restricting access to the Casabah Beach, ultimately displacing Marjorie's Restaurant. Sunday's lime was intended to provide financial support to Lambert through the patronization of her establishment, and when we arrived on the scene somewhere about 3:30 p.m., hundreds of St. Lucians were already there. Not long after our arrival, at the prompting of the MC, the patrons took the long walk along the beach up to the main development to have a glimpse at what will be lost.
It's wise to be there. Why it is wise to be there because a St. Lucian like myself. Number one, I myself have that same problem with government for Honeymoon Beach. I have 11 acres of land and they want to take it to the same kind of, give it to the white man to build his hotels or whatever it is. And I have that same problem, so I will always support Marjorie. I'm one of the youth guys who come and clean here in the STEP program. I worked in the STEP program first. 4 months. So I know about it. And if they take everything natural we have, what do remain? Nothing. So, and the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof. So we can't sell the earth. You're selling the Father. The land is everything. Nothing else and nothing. Because the piece of paper they have given you as money, it comes from the land.
The activity continued, uneventful until the police left their post at the entrance and arrived on the beach.
The government of SaintLucia under the United Workers' Party is stopping us from exercising our constitutional rights to go to a beach, to support Marjorie, and to patronize.
Listen to the nonsense. That's Christopher Hunt. Listen to the nonsense. The police came on the scene. The police came. Mass crowd gathering. I can't remember if it was during COVID. That may have been during COVID. I can't remember. But for whatever reason, the police came there. Listen to the nonsense Christopher Hunt talking, blaming the UWP government for what is going for the police coming there. Listen to the nonsense.
Left their post at the entrance and arrived on the beach.
The government of SaintLucia under the United Workers' Party is stopping us from exercising our constitutional rights to go to a beach, to support Marjorie, and to patronize her bar. So as of right now, the police have informed me, even though there is no organizer, even though we are just simply patronizing the beach, that we have to stop the music and stop what it is that we are doing. In other words, the most SaintLucian thing that you can do, which is to support another SaintLucian.
But members of the media approached the police and spoke with the senior-most officer in the vehicle, where we learned that it wasn't a full shutdown of activities.
The question should be, if the music is coming from a private vehicle, is it allowed? Officer,
would they be allowed to continue the music or still must or not? They continue in the absence of the music.
The already incensed crowd, led in part by former Castries Central MP Richard Frederick,
Look at that.
responded
Look
with
at
a
that.
few chants.
Look at that. Ring the bell. So you see how they hijacked every issue for their political purposes? Ring the bell. So they demand elections. You see how they fooled SaintLucians and played with your minds? You're seeing now? That's why it's important to go back to these videos and to show y'all how SaintLucians were conned, fooled, lied to, manipulated, and played. Just for them to get into government. And now they're in government, they cannot do chukum. Selling every damn thing the country owns because they don't know how to raise money and they don't know how to run a country. Don't know chukum. Listen to this. Hurry up, yeah, because you're desperate to get into power. Hurry up, because you're desperate to get into power. Yes, Richard Frederick. Hurry up, because you're desperate to get into power. Hurry up, because you're desperate to get in power. All sorts of underhanded deals going on now. Richard Frederick. All sorts of underhanded deals are going on now. But I understand from my sources they are clipping your wings. I understand they are clipping your wings. They put Mikey Pilgrim to watch you on Housing Board. You tried to get rid of Mikey Pilgrim as chair of Housing Board. But they put Mikey Pilgrim there to watch you. You try everything. Insult the man. Curse the man. Have your board resign, expecting the board to collapse. Mikey Pilgrim still there to watch you. Endless underhanded deals, you Richard Frederick. But they're putting spokes in your wheels. I have the information. I have the information. Yeah. Call the election now. Ring the bell. You're desperate to get into power. We know why. We know why. Going back to Cabot now. What has changed? What has changed? What has changed? Cabot going ahead with its project. Fantastic project. It will be it was always a good thing for SaintLucia and it will continue to be a good thing for SaintLucia. Marjorie will be relocated, as was always supposed to be the case. The only difference now is that she got a bigger piece of the pie and her lawyer got a bigger piece of the pie. And guess who's her lawyer? That's the only difference. Y'all do all of that to benefit people and not yourself. All of y'all were jumping up like fools and macaques on the beach that Sunday. What have y'all gotten for it? Y'all know who benefiting from Cabot now? Do y'all know who are benefiting from Cabot now? Look at the pictures of anything Cabot have. Look at the pictures. Cabot cares. Yeah, they built a nice little house for a lady. And I'm happy for that. Look at the people who are benefiting from Cabot. The same people who benefit from labor every time they are in. The friends, family, and cliques. Leo Clark! You are the biggest beneficiaries of Cabot now. Yes, Leo Clark. You're fooled St. Lucians. All of them were jumping up for y'all. Jumping up for y'all to get into power. The average St. Lucian that go and vote for y'all and get chukum. And get a thing. Seen and mise about labor. And you're the only ones benefiting from labor. So St. Lucians cut their neck to put you all there. And you don't give a crap about the people. You're the ones benefiting. The same recycled people you're putting in the consulates and our foreign offices. The same recycled laborers, the Leo Clark's wife, the Leo Clark that benefit from Cabot, the same wall cuts, the same people. All those that were doing all kinds of things for labor, all those that up to now still insulting people, making endless trouble for labor, cursing people off, doing all kinds of things for labor. Have you all benefited? Is your life any better today than it was on July 26, 2021? Is your life any better today than it was on July 26, 2021? Even in the midst of COVID, things were better in St. Lucia than it is today. A government that inherited 12% growth has squandered it. A government that inherited 12% growth has squandered it because they cannot run a country. And the same friends, family, and cliques, the same group of friends, family, and cliques that are benefiting. Let me read something for you.
Written something about medical service.
Let me read something for you. This is from the Facebook page of the Consulate General of St. Lucia in Toronto. St. Lucia's first Diaspora Affairs officer appointed at Toronto Consulate. Y'all, we have consular offices all over. We have a Consul General in Toronto, Henry Mangal. We have an ambassador of Diaspora Affairs in St. Lucia. I forgot his name. Somebody put his name in the thing for me, in the chat. We have an ambassador of Diaspora Affairs who is based in St. Lucia for all Diaspora Affairs. So in addition to having a Consul General, an entirely staffed team in Toronto, they have created a new position and they're proudly boasting about it. St. Lucia's first Diaspora Affairs officer appointed in Toronto Consulate. For what? To do what? And you'll say the country broke and you're creating jobs just to create jobs to put your people in there? Listen, I have no issue with your bringing your people, your hacks, to put in the consulates. Every government come in, they put their own people in the consulates. Consul General, this one, ambassador, whatever. You're creating a new, unnecessary position in the consulate in Toronto. Pukisa, for what? Listen to this. The Consulate General of St. Lucia in Toronto is pleased to announce the appointment of Miss Aletta Walcott Peter as Diaspora Affairs Officer. Aletta Walcott, Tom Walcott's daughter, who was there before, who didn't do nothing but sit down at a desk, who did nothing. When Labour Party was there, she was there. She's a Canadian citizen. So now they come back, they create a position, an unnecessary position for her. When I tell you the only people benefiting from this government are friends, family, and their cliques. The only people benefiting from this government are themselves personally, their family, and their little cliques. Ernest Hill and Charles up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. I want to know who paying for them tickets for them to be going up and down. Ernest Hill and Thaddeus flying up and down first class, staying at top hotels everywhere they go. Who paying for that? You'll create a position for Aletta Walcott at the St. Lucia Consulate for what? Diaspora Affairs Officer for what? So what is Henry Mangal's job? What is the Ambassador of Diaspora Affairs' job? What is the purpose of a Diaspora Affairs Officer in Toronto except to give one of your hacks a job? Somebody said, to be honest, the consulate in New York is very incompetent. Some of them are very rude and they were never in the offices. When Cheryl Francis was there, I got very good service from her. I only had to use the services of the consulate in Toronto once, and I got very good service from Cheryl Francis. My mom had to use a service to get her passport renewed one time. Very good service. She dropped it off at the house and everything. Very good service. Since Labour Party came in, I used to be on their mailing list. I'm no longer there. I no longer get mails from the consulate in Toronto. I don't know if it's deliberately taken off. But for all the years I've lived in Canada, I had always gotten correspondence from the consulate in Toronto. From the time the Labour Party has come in, I have gotten nothing. No correspondence from the consulate in Toronto. Y'all create a position to put Aletta Walcott there. A unnecessary position on a broke country. For what? I want the SLPs to see what's happening there. Only a few can eat. Only a little small clique, the small circle. That's the only ones benefiting from their power. Y'all do all the things y'all do. All what y'all do. Jack don't want me to bathe on my beach. Endless things y'all do to see Labour Party in, and y'all in no better position. You're in a worse position. And it's only a few. The little cliques alone are benefiting from the power. And Philippe comes here, protect the victory. Protect the victory for him and his little cliques. Not for y'all. Not for y'all. Are y'all any better off today than a year and a half ago? And a year and a half ago, we're in the midst of COVID. But I dare say, even then, things were far better. There was much more money flowing for the country because there were projects going on. There's a sense of hope in the country. There's a sense of a leader who was managing things, who had some measure of control, what a plan, what a vision, what a developmental plan. The Labour Party made y'all hate, made y'all racist, made y'all talk endless nonsense like Stephen King was doing, make y'all jump up on the beach like, just to get them in there. And now y'all seen all the lies, y'all seen all the hypocrisy, y'all seen all of it. Y'all seen all of it. Folks, I know it's getting late. I will not keep you. I'll probably just read a few comments. But I want you to open your eyes on what this government said when they were in the opposition and what they're doing now. Look at the hypocrisy of this government. Patrimony has gone out the door. All the loudest voices, the so-called patriots, are now silent. They overdose on mumu pills until you get back in power. Look at what is going on in the society. They had a problem with a private with a receiver selling private property, but they're selling all of our national most important assets, our ports, on which our very livelihood, our lifeblood, our tourism industry depends. SLHT not say anything. SLHT, oh, I forgot your president is now a senator. He's more Labour Party than the Labour Party itself. I forgot. All of your fake neutrals, fake associations that fool St. Lucians. You're busy playing politics. Your government in now, so you're silent. That's why when you're getting screwed, I don't feel sorry for y'all. When you're getting screwed, I don't feel sorry for y'all. Our tourism industry will now be in the hands of basically access into our country through our cruise ports and our airport is now in the hands of foreign entities. The only way for our tourists to get in are now in the hands of foreign entities. And you're silent. Anyway, folks, if you all want to be silent and docile, continue that. Continue that. But I am outraged at what is going on in St. Lucia. Outraged. I am outraged at what's going on in St. Lucia. The sale of key assets to foreign entities. Patrimony is no longer a thing. Patriots have gone silent. Jobs being created for their girls and their boys. Useless jobs. Useless, unnecessary jobs being created for their friends and their family and their little cliques. Opportunities for medical industry out of the south gone down the drain. Opportunity for a cruise ship port that would have been able to be a home port for the south gone down the drain. Bravo, Philippe. Bravo. Bravo to you. Bravo to this government. Well done. The country is going down the drain. Good night, St. Lucians.